just like that, Oyama has done exactly what he said, and has brought us into Akane's subconscious. It's an ethereal, dreamlike world where some would say it seems pretty calm. But we really don't have time to waste soaking in the atmosphere and getting a sense of serenity. We have to find where Akane's soul is. The thing is, there's only one set path through this wheat field. The bad news is that it's not as serene as it appears. But it doesn't take much to elude Akane's evil side in this world. That definitely will not be the last we'll be seeing of her. Yeah, as Oyama mentioned, this could very well be some childhood memory of Akane's, though it's never really explicitly said. Is a very good idea because, as per usual, getting touched by any regret is instant death, and this entire dream world is pretty much just a series of very narrow corridors. But in this intersection here, we do have a couple paths to go down, though we do want to refrain from going down the center path just yet. Instead, I think we'll go ahead and head down the left here and see where that takes us. This is one of those situations where it's good to have a cursed eye, as its reaction is telling us that something is nearby, along with the rustling. The problem is that Akane was invisible. And that's going to be a bit of a problem, but the easiest way to work around it is just to stay entirely still, and we should be okay. But that won't be the only trick that Akane will try to pull in this area. Sometimes she will just be completely visible, but her path, as she goes through the wheat field here, will start to close in more and more on you, so, just like Oyama says, once you have a clear way, run for it. Though you do want to be a little careful, as she will sometimes pop up further along in the path in front of you. Just if anything, you don't want to stay still. I do appreciate this setting overall. The short draw distance, the fog, and just the overall sounds of the wheat field lend itself to a very, very unsettling situation. Not to mention the sheer frequency that Akane chooses to pop up in this area. Well, it lends itself to dying pretty frequently. It really puts you on edge and makes you want to take every step as carefully as possible. Problem is, though, in this situation you want to just keep moving and head to the Scarecrow because she is right behind us. Yeah, the Scarecrow is where we wanted to head. This allows us to talk one more time to Naoki. So with that, we're sent nearly back to the start of the wheat field. And we also get the idea that some part of Naoki's soul, or at least the thought of him in Akane's mind, is still lingering behind, and it wants to help us to bring back together Akane's splintered soul. But with the left path out of the way, we are going to head down the right, though I am going to cut it out just for the mere fact that it's the exact same as the other path. And while this game update seems to initially be empty, if we investigate the stump, Kento finally shows himself in the wheats. And in this case, he introduces himself because we never visited Kenta's grave. It would be different if we had visited Kenta's tomb back on the previous day, but since we visited Naoki's on this save file, he does give a little bit of a different explanation here. Still, we should now have Naoki and Kenta on our side to hopefully bring back together Akane's mind. And that just leaves the one final central path. Now, there is a key reason I didn't go down this path first. And that's why. If you do happen to go down this path initially, Akane will spawn and you'll be trapped because of this cabin here in the center won't be accessible. But it is now. So yeah, it seems as if the game is taking on a life of itself and is slowly consuming Akane, having fed off her negativity. And likewise, if we don't run away from this encroaching darkness, we will be consumed as well. But we do get some last-second assistance from our good friend Ren. But Yuto decides to also make a last-second save. Manages to save all of us, though we are still very much trapped. But just as we are consumed by darkness in the RPG world, so too do we find ourselves in the real world, consumed inside of a void. Left only with Akane. The negativity was too strong. Those feelings of guilt and hate were finally taken over, and all of Akane's control is gone. All that's left now is this final boss fight, though it's a lot harder than it seems. Just as Davey tries to ask Oyama here what he should do, Oyama himself is at a serious loss for words. And all we can really do is keep running, though in this case, the strafe has actually found itself pretty useful in this situation, as otherwise, Akane would be pretty frequently teleporting, catching up with us, and more than likely killing us. The problem is that that's really not going to be a solution to our problem. Though it does look like Ren might have saved the day. Let's see what her email has to say. That's not Ren at all. That's Akuda, the game developer. Seems that he's heard about how the game is still causing people suffering, and he's made a brand new ending that will hopefully rectify all this horribleness going on. The problem is that we still do not have a game update yet. So we're gonna have to keep running for just a little while longer. And I do apologize, but this just ended up being the safest way for me to record this. I died quite a few times trying to properly evade Akane here. Here it is. Here's that last second patch to the game that will hopefully save the day. So, yet again, at the last second, we are saved by the quick work of Akuta. Though we still got a lot of help, not only from Akane herself, but also her friends Kenta and Naoki, who were there to remind her that even though the feelings of negativity, regret, grief, hatred are still pretty much always going to be present in the world, it's going to be counterbalanced in some way by friendship and love. And as long as there's that feeling of togetherness, that feeling of apology available, that nothing is ever truly broken. There's always a way for things to be fixed. And that's what's happened here. We've defeated the curse of the game yet again. We've allowed 3 tortured souls, and probably quite a few other tortured souls, of their much-needed release into the afterworld, and I think all in all, things have been wrapped up pretty well. And even this time around, we didn't lose our teacher. Kawagoe is still very much alive, so I think all in all, Davey should pat himself on the back. This has been a pretty successful and good ending all around. I can't really think of a single thing that we might be forgetting. Though there is a little bit left after the credits, so hopefully you guys will stick around till then.